YouTube, how the heck you doing? This is Corey with Watcher Realms. We're back with another one. Now, we have some options when it comes to the Piercer teams for Season 9. So I'm kind of going to go over them super quickly, and I'm going to cover both the towers and the keeps for this. So first and foremost, this is going to be some substitutions, right? So we have a Sylas that is in this particular spot. What you really want is a Lady Alexandra. I'm just going to cut it straight there, right? If you don't have Lady Alexandra, it gets a little bit tricky to go ahead and build a really good Piercer team. However, this team right here would possibly suffice just from the things that I have seen. Now, what you really want is obviously Lady Alexandra, because what she's going to go ahead and do is any unit that gets in this little range portal area, right? She's going to go ahead, proc her passive, and if you have her artifact, she will probably go ahead and just snipe them outright. And it's done from there. The second thing is you definitely want to eye here. You can use Ajax in this tile. However, eye is the main CC unit that you'll want to kind of prioritize, because she's going to start spawning crystals here, 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 and then sometimes here. But what you really are hoping for is that she actually starts spawning them here, here, and here. Reason being is because if she spawns them anywhere in this vicinity, your piercers are actually going to have a really good time just free firing against those units. So units like Garnet Guards, which would target this Yovar here, which is also covered by the Lily, will probably get taken out relatively quickly by both the Yovar and the Lady Alexandra, which would hypothetically be in this tile, right? Now, obviously, we have a Sylas here, so it's a little bit different, but yeah, Garnet Guards, they're going to suffer quite a bit against this composition. You also have the Chaotic Shaman. Now, the Chaotic Shaman present a interesting situation because the Chaotic Shaman will go ahead and burn the Brokir. But because Brokir has a shield and he doesn't insta-die, that's one of the main things that you're kind of rooting for. And then also, he is covered by Lily. So his revive passive kind of helps out just a little bit in that regard with giving him some additional sustainability. And then finally, because there's a lot of kind of things going with this composition, right? Even after the Brokir dies, still provides meaningful enough ground CC, so where archers aren't going to be super, super, super deadly. They will snipe her first, but then you'll have your Yovar to take them out ideally, and then you'll also have your Sylas or your Lady Alexandra to also deal with them relatively effectively. So that's what you're mainly looking for with this. Now, this is the only composition that I would realistically recommend in working. Now, a couple of substitutions that you can do. If you don't have a Brokir, it's fine to use Malvira. It's a little bit trickier, but you basically place Malvira in the exact same spot. You want her facing upwards. Reason being is because this could be bombed if things go poorly, right? So what would happen is people drop spiders, drop bomb, and they would just kind of filter through here and blow up these two units, which you're really banking on Brokir's passive to go ahead and proc, freezing the spiders, preventing that from happening. Or you're also just banking on a really good eye crystal, preventing them from filtering through here. Or you're also just banking on your Yovar just one-shotting them, right? All these are very realistic possibilities, so that's one strategy that you could use against it, but it's not really a guaranteed strategy. So the main things here, right? If you don't have a Lily, or you're preoccupied, like your Lily is preoccupied because you're using her for a different team, Carnelian is really, really, really good as well. You can also use units like Narissa right now because of cleanse. You could use Eunomia, because Eunomia has a cleanse, Desomi has a cleanse. Those are like the main healers right now that are going to be sought after for this season, for season 9, right? So pretty much this is going to be the team composition that I would truthfully recommend. You could use a Beelzebub here if you really wanted to. Beelzebub is going to go ahead and give you some meaningful CC. However, and he's going to give some inspiration to the Yovar in this particular case, but it's not always going to be the best overall for you, because you're not getting a full tile of clearance here. You're mainly just clearing this little window, and that kind of hurts you in the long run, especially if you have a Lady Alexandra in this tile, because Lady Alexandra will snipe these areas here, which eye connects here, but your Yovar won't, right? So Lady Alexandra is also just, once again, like super, super important for this team to work. It gets a little bit devastating whenever there is a Lady A there. Now, the second team composition for the keeps now is a little bit different. So for keeps, we have it right about here. So let's go ahead and deploy this, and then I'll explain it. So one of the main things that you're really looking for with the keeps in particular for this map is you have your Brokir here. I have a healer here, which is Eunomia. However, you can easily go ahead and use Carnelian. You could use Nerissa. You can use Pharisee, maybe, but I don't really like Pharisee in this particular tile. But those are the main healers that you're going to look at using. Because Eunomia is here, she is going to go ahead and bounce heal pretty much all of these units based off of the pathing. So that's one of the nice things, and she does have that cleanse, but there's options. Actually, I could even just do like this. Makes the exact same sense. It gives your Yovar, your unit here, more attack speed, which is nice, right? But let's just go ahead and get into the actual like comp and how it works. So Beelzebub, what he does is he'll actually go ahead and pull the units in a very weird trajectory. They will go ahead, they typically will proc his ult like right around here. If he has like normal rage regen, it'll proc like right around here, and it will fish them down basically to this tile where they're still under CC. They can't really do any hits, they're just stuck, right? And then what will happen is it will just repath them back up. So what happens is your Yovar in this particular situation would have the free reign to just go ahead and auto hit them. Now you could use Yovar here, you could use a Lady Alexandra here, which is probably the most sought after unit. But I personally prefer to go ahead and put her right here, right? Where the Sylas is, you put your Lady Alexandra here. She is in full clearance. She's not going to be hit under any circumstance by Garnagars or anything like that. And what you're benefiting from is your Lady Alexandra will just start sniping out these units coming from here while Yovar goes ahead and gets them low. So one of the main benefits is if Yovar does enough damage when paired with the Beelzebub, you shouldn't really see any swarms being developed because they're automatically going to have no shields, no healers, no nothing, right? And then Lady Alexandra's job is really just to start cleaning up anything that's being developed on the map. So if you don't have a Brokir, once again, you can use Malvira for this. It works pretty similar. If you want to use a different unit than Eunomia, which is fine, obviously, right? You really kind of want to start prioritizing the cleansers for this map. Truth be told, once again, like Nerissa, Elwyn. I don't necessarily like Elwyn, but Elwyn can work. Actually, she might be pretty good, considering she does have a cleanse on her ultimate, and she goes ahead and gives rage regen, which is super important for units like Yovar. Lady A benefits from it as well, but yeah, Elwyn's not the best overall, but she can be usable. Nerissa, Pharisee, Desomi. Desomi is really good because Desomi gives the shield, the inspiration, and the cleanse. So those are some of the units that you're really looking for. You want units that have like wide range. So I'm talking like this tile would be covered, this tile would be covered, and all this bubble pretty much is covered. So once again, that's what you're looking for. Yovar, honestly, I really recommend having a high awakened Yovar just because you want to push as much damage as you can on the Yovar because he's kind of the catalyst for this working super well. And the whole purpose of this is I'm not letting you develop anything on the map because it's being taken down by Yovar. And then the Lady Alexandra in this particular situation, I know I'm clicking Silas, but I'm an arena scrub. It should be a Lady Alexandra. Should just kind of wipe out anything else that's being developed, and then you're going to feel really comfortable. Now, once again, if they're trying to go ahead and do a bug bombing strategy or anything like that, your Yovar is pretty good about taking them down super low, and then also the Silas is also really good, or the Lady Alexandra is also really good at just taking them down, so where it's not really a viable strategy as much as it would seem, right? So those are the main things that you're looking for. If you don't have a Beelzebub, you can obviously put like a Magda right here. You can put a Reeve right here, and then you get relatively similar results. But in this tile, you'd 100% need a healer that has like a revive. So you're looking at Lily, Carnelian as the main two, just to go ahead and prevent any of these tile units from dying. That's the main thing, and if you do that, you should see some success. See ya.